Welcome to today's Thursday Talk and the Organizing Mindset podcast with me, Suzanna Kaye. And today I am talking about one of my absolute favorite tools for handling incoming mail and all of those to-do papers, those active papers that you can't quite file away yet because you still have to do something with them. So today we are talking about the action file. Now, during this session, we will talk about what is the action file, how you can build your own with supplies you probably already have at your house, nothing else that you need to buy. And we'll talk about how do you use it? What makes it different? Because this is very different from what you've seen before. Okay. So what makes it different? What makes it effective? How do you use it? And how can you learn more? And don't worry, the Learn More is also free. So buckle up. This is going to be a good one, especially for your mail and your to-do papers. So before we kick those paper piles to the curb, I wanted to say hi in the chat. As you hop on, let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. And also tell me, do you already use an action file or some other system for mail and active to-do papers? How do you handle your mail and to-do papers? So I see Joyce is here. Hello, Joyce from Virginia. Mary's here. She says, yes, I use my action file daily. Yay, awesome. Earl Ann is here. She says, getting used to using my action file. Joyce says, I'm trying to use my action file. Yeah, it's different to start with, right? It does take a little bit. It's not horrible, just a little bit of adjustment in how you think. But once you get going with it, people love it. It makes such a huge difference. Works for me. Awesome. All right. On Facebook, hello, good morning. Now, if you are on Facebook and you want to have your name show, Facebook, of course, can be difficult sometimes, but this is easy. You could just go to StreamYard.com. That's StreamYard.com/Facebook. Do it in another tab or another window on another device, whatever. And just authorize the ability for StreamYard, which is what I use to broadcast, for StreamYard to show your name in your profile. And that's it. And then it should show up, and it should show up for a while. You have to reactivate it every once in a while, but it should show up for several sessions before you have to reactivate it again. But anyway, on Facebook, good morning, welcome. Hi, Melody from Northern Virginia. She says, I like using my action file daily. Fantastic. On Facebook, I do have an action file, and I also use a file system. Yes, the action file does not replace your whole file system. It works with it, which is what is so helpful, right? I love that. Denise says, I used mine in the beginning after making it the first time, but stopped because I got overwhelmed. Going to take another shot at it and pare down. And that's the key, right? Paring down. Less is more with the action file. And that's one of those things that takes a little bit of time to get used to, but you're going to do awesome. I know it, Denise. If I know you, you're going to rock this. Hi, Linda. Welcome from Wisconsin. On Facebook from Cleveland, Ohio. Still trying to use it for to-dos. Awesome. Also on Facebook, is there another way to watch the 11 a.m. Thursday Talks? There is, yes. If you go to my YouTube channel. So when you go to YouTube, you can just search Suzanna Kaye Organizer, and you'll probably see me right there. But the YouTube channel is a great way to watch. And then it actually is a little bit easier than watching through Facebook as well. So make sure when you go there, subscribe so you get notifications, and then you don't have to search for it each time either, because you'll be told, hey, she's going live. Hey, Jane, she says, good morning. I made it to a live. Yay! Woot. I'm so glad. Rosemary's here. She says, hi, new here. Welcome. Oh, I'm so glad. I don't have the action file yet, but looking forward to a better relationship with papers as I'm drowning in boxes of papers. Rosemary, you are in the right place. You're among good company with that one, and you are not alone. BT is here from Memphis, and Jane says, I do use my action file, but need to get back seriously looking at it daily or set up a day of the week to do that. Yes, and I believe if I remember correctly, Jane, you are a Path member, and we do have the group hike replays. If you can't attend live, then the replays are really helpful for remembering to double check it and actually dedicating time to that. So I believe I remember that you are a Path member, and if so, then feel free to reach out to me. Shoot me an email at hello@suzannakaye.com, and I can give you the different ways of the Path membership that you might not be using, but you've already got the benefit for that can really help you with that. All right, so let's talk about this action file because I know that we do have some new people here or people who've been following a while and just have not been the right time to try out the action file. So what is it? How do you create one yourself for free with supplies you've already got at home? How do you use it? All that good stuff. This is my superhero tool for reining in all of that paper chaos and all of those to-dos. Also, if you are building your action file for the first time, or if you wanted to touch up your action file and just make sure that you've got it maximized and everything how you want it to be, join the challenge. So starting this Monday, which I believe is March 18th, we have a 3-day challenge. So super quick and easy, quick emails each of those 3 days, super quick email with a quick little tidbit of what's the next step in building that action file and understanding how to use it. Plus, there will be some live videos each day, and I'll show you how to use it even more in depth. I'll go into customizing it, creating custom folders, and all the good stuff that I can't go in depth in right here. So if you want to join the challenge, I would love to share that with you. And when you join the challenge, you can also get the action file guide, which can tell you all of that in that guide as well. So to join the challenge, it's free. Go to SuzannaKaye.live.join-the-challenge. This link is also in the video and podcast descriptions and in the Facebook description. So join the challenge, Suzanna Kaye, that's Kaye, .live/join-the-challenge. And you can join the challenge for free and get everything that you need to know to set up your action file. It'll fill in any holes that you might have after today, but today might be enough. All right, well, let's dive in. What is an action file? Keep telling me in the chat area if you have an action file, if you use it, who you are, where you're joining from. But what's an action file? So an action file, this is my action file. Yours can look different. That's absolutely okay. Go with your style. I just love this little box because it can sit on a desk or it can hang up on a wall. And I think it's super cute. I love this box and I love using cute file folders, but that's just me. But the key to the action file, an action file is temporary storage for all of the papers that come into your home. So that includes the mail, it includes anything that you bring in from the car, the kids maybe, or your spouse brings into the house. Everything has a place in the action file. Not only the stuff that comes in, but also anything that's still active. So that would be papers that have something that still has to be done with them, whether you just have to read it or enter the information somewhere else, like enter a business card into your phone contacts, or if you actually have to do something more in depth. It has a place in the action file, so you won't forget to do it. And during the challenge, I will give you some tips. If you're an out of sight, out of mind person like I am, then I will give you some tips on how to make sure you don't forget the items that you put in here, because it doesn't work if you put them in there and forget, right? So I'll share that during the challenge lives, but it has a place for everything that's active and to do, so you will not forget it. And if you need to find something, it's super easy to find it in here. Since it's temporary storage, once things are completed, it flows. It flows right into your paper system. So if you use the paper path system, which is the one that I teach in the paper path course, that paper path system, it flows really easily into that system. But if you use a different system, this also works with that. All right. So this works with all the different paper systems. Temporary storage for papers that come in. It is also, once all actions are finished, the paper is filed or discarded. So it flows into your paper system or out in the recycling or shredder. And then only one of these folders is a folder that you need to check on a regular basis. So you don't even need to check all of these different folders for things that you might forget to do. There's only one important folder that you have to build a habit around. And I've got some super easy ways to build a habit around that folder that I'll be sharing with you during the challenge as well. So if you like this so far, if you're in and you want to hear more, do me a favor, click the heart or the like, comment in the comments and tell me if you're enjoying this and if you're curious for more. So next, how do I build an action file? That's what we are going to talk about next. I want to hop over to the comments really quickly though. Let's see. I'm just going back to where I left off from. Awesome. Here it is. BT. I've been working in the garage for 2 days and I have 3 bags to shred. Wow. Woot, woot, woot. Yay. And Jane, yeah, I thought so. She says, yes, I am a PATH member. I was 99% sure. I didn't want to be wrong, but yes. So if you wanted to, shoot me an email at hello@suzannakay.com and I can tell you which of the different PATH member benefits can help you out. Hey, Sally. She says, I use a monthly file that I narrow down to a daily file. Ooh, that's really cool. Awesome. I'm glad that you have a system that's working for you. Yay. Lori says, was there an email this morning with the link to the 11 a.m. Thursday talk? I subscribed to YouTube, but didn't get a notification. If you're subscribed to YouTube, then YouTube will send you a notification through YouTube. So that depends on your settings. And as far as an email with the link, do me a favor, shoot me an email at hello@suzannakay.com. Since you are a PATH member, you should have gotten a link this morning with the reminder for the Thursday talks. And I'll just double check to make sure that nothing went wrong with your email. All right. Thank you. Hey, Judy, glad you're here. And Denise, she says, going to use Monday, Wednesday to pare mine down. Yay. Mariana's here. Hi. Yep, and on Facebook. Yes, Lori, there is YouTube. Denise says to Lori, I got a text message about the live today. I get them every week. Yes, make sure you're getting text messages if you're interested as well. So if you're not signed up for text messages, you actually can sign up for the Incoming Papers Challenge text messages if you're interested. Text the phrase, just this phrase, action file 1. Send that text message, action file 1, to 407-214-4420. That's also in the video description. And when you register for the challenge, I also email you that phone number. So if you need it, then that's where you do it. If you want to just hear about all the regular public events, text the message events to 407-214-4420. That same number, just text the word events to that number, and I will make sure that you get signed up for just the general events email or text messages. And you can stop anytime. Just text stop if you don't want them anymore. All right. So in the chat area, that's right, I was going through those. Yay, Eloise says, yes, I'm enjoying this. We got a bunch of hearts saying, yes, enjoying this. Yay, oh, I'm so glad. Lori has folders in her action file called to shred, to attend, receipts, to wait, which I use all of these. I need to start using the to do, to file, to read folders because things just sit in those files. Yep, understandable. Well, this week is for you too, Lori, then. Denise says, for shred stuff, I have a paper bag near my shredder that you drop it in. It goes into the waste. I don't want to waste the space in my action file for that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have your shredder nearby, that's perfect. That's even better than a file folder for it. Yes. Jackie says, hello from Jupiter, Florida, enjoying the program and just starting my declutter journey. Yay, Jackie. I'm so glad that you're here. You're in the right place. Judy says, I'm a PATH member and got an email with a link today. Great. Yeah. So Lori, just shoot me an email and we'll make sure that yours didn't bounce back or something. Okay. So the big question of the day, right, is how do I build my action file, right? So how do you build your action file? And let me actually see if I can find, I have the link. I thought I had the link for my list of supplies, but that's okay. If I can't find it really quickly, then I will go on and I think it's also in the description. But I will go on and we'll skip that for now, the link, and I will share that in just a minute. Okay. Or actually, I can pull up while I talk. Although I'm not good at typing and talking. Are you good at typing and talking? I would love to find that out because I am so bad at both typing and talking at the same time. I will always either type or say the thing that I am do the opposite of what I want. All right, so how do I build an action file? Let's get back on track. There's the link. I found it for you, suzannakay.live/favorite-things. So this will just have a link to a page with all the different supplies that I like to use, including this holder and everything. Use it to get ideas if you want, or if you like something particular that you see, then that's where you can find it. Okay, so to build your action file, you need a container. So the container, you do not want a large container. You want something that's just big enough to hold about 10 hanging file folders and some supplies. So about this size. This is the desktop hanging file storage is what I searched for on Amazon to find options. And this is the one that I landed on that I really liked. And you will need 5 to 10. You can get 10 just in case. Hanging file folders, whatever design you want, whatever colors, if you like all the same color, whatever. If you already have some, perfect. Now, if you don't have a hanging file box, you can probably make one from something that you already have at home, maybe a big cereal box, or you could cut a box down, whatever it is. Just make sure that eventually you get one that can hold hanging file folders and that you can get into things easily. So I do like the hanging folders instead of the ones that don't hang, that are just the tab folders, because those tend to fall backwards and lean, and it makes it hard to get into the folder quickly. Our goal is to get papers into this without thinking, super fast, you could just move on with your day. So hanging file folders, 10 or so of those. Hanging file box. That's all that you really need for your action file. Those are the only two things that are required. The hanging file folders will hopefully come with their tabs. If they don't, get tabs. But then some other optional supplies that I like to include in this first folder that I have in my action file. Let me prop this up a little bit more for you. There we go. In this first file that I have, I like to put some extra supplies. So I just use one of the either the free bags that you get from various, purchases from makeup, or a pencil case. But within the pencil case or free bag, some of the things I like to have Post-it notes in case I need to write on a paper, something like the next step or where I'm at in the process. Some pens, pencils, highlighters, just one of each type of thing. You don't need a lot because you can, if it runs out, you can get another. I like to use either a mini stapler, or you could do paper clips or binder clips. So those all go in my quick grab pencil holder in the front. And during the challenge, I'll talk about some other supplies that you may or may not want to put in the front to optimize it even more, but those are just the basics. So that's all that you really need though. File holders and file folders. So now that you've got your supplies gathered, let's just imagine you've gotten these all gathered in one place. How do you use this, right? How do you use the action file? So let's go into that. And remember, just really quickly, if you want to join the challenge, oops, those dates are wrong. Let me change those dates. If you want to join the Incoming Papers Challenge to learn even more about the action file, I'll give you extra tips on how to maximize it. I will give you extra tricks on how to make the most of it, how to use it, how to customize a few folders, all that good stuff. It's happening this Monday, March 18th through Wednesday, March 20th, and it's free. And when you register, you'll just get daily emails, just a couple emails a day, letting you know when the live is starting, giving you the replay of the live if you missed it, the task email, that type of thing. So I try not to fill up your inbox, and you will have all the information you need to build this. Okay. So when you have built your action file, there are some main folders that I usually start with and have you set up just to try out and see how much you need of these folders. And then if you need some extra folders, I say 10 folders or fewer, because our brain works better with fewer choices. It's like the difference between going to, if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory, the restaurant, where they give you the whole book and it's a whole menu and everything looks good and you can't make a decision. So you end up getting what you always get because your brain shuts down. Too many decisions. Versus going to somewhere like Chick-fil-A. You can have a chicken sandwich, chicken wrap, or chicken nuggets type of thing. Fewer choices. They have fewer than like 10 choices for sure. Probably fewer than 5 choices of the different types of chicken you can get. Super easy to decide at Chick-fil-A though, right? Because you don't have too many choices. Nothing against the Cheesecake Factory. because I love me some chocolate cheesecake. But fewer choices mean your brain does not have to engage and think as hard. Plus, fewer choices mean you're less likely to have gray areas between the different folders where something could fit in both and you're not quite sure where it goes. Makes it nice and easy. Everything is distinct and clear as to what it does. So here are the main folders that I usually set up when you're doing it for the first time. To do. So I will come back to the to-do folder, but the to-do folder is the only one that you actually have to set up a habit or some reminder to check. To enter. So your to enter folder, that means, actually, let me back up. The reason it's called an action file, this will make it all make more sense, is you put papers in this file based on what is the next action that needs to happen with this paper. What's the next thing that you need to do? Not all the steps that you need to do, just the next thing that you need to do, it goes in that folder. That automatically helps you batch. If you've heard of batching, that's when you do the same type of tasks in the same period of time. So your brain can just go from one thing to the next without having to task switch and use a lot of energy and waste time. So you're automatically batching. There's no question of, okay, well, what's the next thing I have to do with this? It's already in a folder telling you this is stuff you have to, like for this one, to enter. So to enter simply means that the only thing that you have to do next with this paper is enter information from the paper somewhere else. It's to enter the information somewhere else. So it could be a business card where you just need to enter the information into your phone contacts. It could be something that you're putting in your Spark Life binder, where maybe it's an insurance policy. You just need to enter the information for the updated policy number in your Spark Life binder. Whatever it is, if you just need to enter the information somewhere else as your next step, it goes into enter. Then there's to read. If the next step is just that you have to read through it, you don't know if there's other steps after that. The next step is just to read it, like an insurance policy. Maybe your insurance policy came in and you want to read through it to see what changes have happened, how it's changed before you file it. Then it goes into read. Now, it's possible when you read through it, you might need to call your insurance company and ask a question about it. That's fine. It goes into read, so you can read through it first. If you find that it has another step, then once you've read through it, that action's finished. What's the next step for it, right? Sometimes it has to go into enter to enter information in your Spark Life binder. It might go into do to make a phone call to the insurance company. To scan, only set this one up if you do scan papers, but to scan would be if you want to scan the paper before it gets either filed or destroyed, recycled, then it would go into scan. So you could just scan a bunch of papers all at once instead of stopping and doing one off. And then to file. So that insurance policy we were talking about, maybe once you read through it, everything looks good. You put it into enter. You enter the information in the Spark Life binder when you work through your to enter file folder. There's nothing else you need to do besides keep it. Well, maybe either you scan it or maybe you decide to file it, but it's going to go, pop it right into file if you just need to file it because there's no other actions needed. So the to file folder, my general rule is when it gets full, it gets filed. You don't have to worry about these to enter, to read, to scan, to file too much because once they get full, or if you have time on one day, then you can deal with it. But usually there's nothing in here that is super urgent. Now let's go back to that to-do folder. I told you we'd go back, right? So the to-do folder, this would be if it has an action not covered by the other folders. So it's not something you have to enter somewhere else. It's not something you have to read first. It's not ready to be filed or scanned yet. That's when to-do happens. And any papers that have something you have to do something with, make a phone call, fill out an RSVP, double check that that shipment came in, maybe if it's a confirmation page. You can, all the papers that have a to-do associated with them can go in your to-do file. Plus, you can even write notes to yourself. Maybe you just jot down on a scrap paper really quickly, order more light bulbs for the kitchen and put it in your to-do folder. So this is the main place where you're going to gather any papers and reminders to yourself of things that have to be done. Now, like I mentioned, later in the challenge, I will share with you some of my tricks to make sure that when things go into the to-do folder, they don't just go in there to die. You actually remember to do them. And I have some really easy ways where you're not going through your whole to-do folder and, sitting down for hours and doing all the things. So join the challenge so that way you can learn all the different ways to create custom folders. Remember, we want 10 or fewer folders in here. So if you need to do any custom folders unique to you, how to remember to check that to-do folder, and how this flows into the rest of your paper system. Where does it go from here? But that's the action file. So the whole difference of the action file is it's telling you what is the next action with that paper. And it's very easy. When your mail comes in, you can very quickly, you don't even have to open the envelope most of the time, very quickly put it into the folder that it belongs in, and then go on with your day. So hopefully you have a really good idea of what the action file is, how to set it up, and the general basis of how to use it. Papers can flow in between the folders as they have different actions completed and needed. They flow out of the folder into either your paper path, paper system, or whatever paper system you have for keeping papers, right? Your archive papers. And all of that is just sort of an overview. So if you want to hear a bit more, if you want to hear about customizing folders, some of the ways that I add extra supplies and extra different tools in my action file, where to place your action file so it's the most effective, how to remember to check the to-do folder and other folders, all of that good stuff, make sure to join the free Incoming Papers Challenge. It's only 3 days, March 18th through 20th. It's okay to join late if you want to. So if you're watching this on May 19th, that's okay. You can still join. I'll send you the information. But register for that challenge. The link is in the description. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you there. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat area. I'll give you a quick recap. But your next step is to join that challenge. And remember, Path members, if you are a Path member at noon, we're going to do our weekly check-in as well. So before I do the recap, I wanted to check the chat. Yeah, I asked if you can type and talk at the same time. Yeah, Lori says, I can't type and talk at the same time very well. Okay, good. It's not just me. Yeah, Eloise says, no, I cannot text and talk. It's not just me. Hey, Kimberly, nice to see you. Welcome. Okay, so Rosemary asked, is the to-do, it's like to action? Yeah, it's kind of, to action is one way to think about it, or it's sort of like things that I still need to do but don't fit in another folder. And I have one of the things that I share during the challenge is I have these little cheat sheets that you can tape inside or outside of your action file folders to make it really easy to remember how the folder is used. So it's similar to like if you wanted to do actions or papers that still have something to do, something like that. But it's just nice and short so your brain knows. All right, these are just things I have to do something with them besides to read them, to scan them, to enter those steps. Either you don't ever have to do them or not yet. There's something to do first. Hopefully that answers the question. Oh, Susan says none of these links work. Will you let me know in the chat area where you're trying to click the links or what link you're trying to click so I know, and then I can make sure that I double check it and see if I can make sure that's working for you. Okay. So just let me know where the link is and hopefully that helps. Denise says, the stickers you have on your file folders, will they be in the course? They are in the Paper Path course. So if you have the Paper Path course, then you have those cutouts. They're little cutout sheets that I created for the action file. And if you actually join the action file challenge, everybody who's registered, I will share those with them as well. Bonnie says, is the action file letter or legal size? I just do letter size. You have a lot more choices for the file holders for one, and it's less expensive, but also it's very rare to get a lot of legal papers that are going to go in there. But if you do have a specific situation where you do get a lot of different legal size papers coming into your life, that's the time when I might consider a legal size holder. But if you don't, then those few legal size papers that you might get they can work in the letter size for now because it's not permanent storage. Remember, it's temporary. Kimberly says, should we want or need sticker paper to make those labels? I just printed them on regular paper and used tape. So that's completely up to you. If you'd prefer them to be actual stickers, then you can do sticker paper. But what you saw of mine, they look pretty decent. And I just use transparent tape and regular paper. Rosemary says, thank you for answering. I like the notes in front of the folders. Oh, good. Yeah, you're so welcome. Lori says, I have a folder in the action file to keep notices I typed or printed, telling those I want to be removed from their mailing list, stamps, and copies of the addresses I sent notice to. Yes, and I know for you right now, you are going through that, the whole changing your phone number or removing things from the mailing list and stuff like that. You've got a whole thing going on. So for you, that's the perfect custom folder because that's part of a project that's ongoing that you need fast access to. So perfect example of one idea for a custom folder. Absolutely. And we'll talk about that during the challenge more. And we can talk about it if you want during the Path member check-in at noon. So yeah, I love it. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, now's your chance. But let's do a quick recap. Okay. So the action file, what is an action file? Remember the action file, it is just temporary storage, but your papers live in here until there are no actions left with them. And the only thing that you have left to do with them is file them or shred them or recycle them, basically archive or gone. Those are the two ways that they get out of the action file, right? So it's temporary storage until all the actions are finished and they're either archived within your paper path system or whatever paper system you use, or they are disposed of. Once all the actions are finished, then they flow from your action file into your paper path or other filing system, however you do your files. And remember the paper path system at SuzannaKaye.com. You can always visit the shop there. Right now, you can actually get the paper path course, which is a course where I teach you one small step at a time. So you don't need a lot of time to set it up and do the little steps, like 15 minutes or so each. But one step at a time, I teach you to set up your entire paper system. And this would be step one. So I'm giving you basically step one of the paper path course for free in the action file challenge or the incoming papers challenge. But this flows into your file system. If you want to learn what the paper path system is and how to set it up, the paper path course is in the shop. Right now, you can also get a welcome party bonus. There's some other bonuses that I might sprinkle in as well. And you can also get a chance to get a free month of the Path membership when you grab the paper path course now through like towards the end of March. I think it's maybe the 26th, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But if you get the course right now, then you get the bonuses. So with the action file, also only one of these folders, the to-do folder, that's the only folder you have to set up a habit to check. And this week, during this upcoming week, during the challenge, I will give you some tips and tricks on how to make checking it and maintaining it super easy so you don't forget the stuff in there. So that's the action file. There's only one folder to check. And how do I build an action file? The action file, you build it with the only things you must have is a holder. You don't want one too big. You can start with a big one if you don't have a smaller one and upgrade it later if you need to. Start with, but eventually have a small one that holds hanging file folders easily. 10 or fewer hanging file folders. So holder, folder. Remember that. Those are the only supplies you must have. And remember my supply shop link, SuzannaKaye.live/favorite-things. If you want to see what supplies I use and some examples of other things that you might want to add. How do I use the action file? All right. This is where the fun part comes because remember the action file is named the action file because why? That's right. Because you file the papers in the folders based not on what type of paper it is. I don't care if it's a bank statement or an RSVP to a baby shower. You file it based on what is the next action that I need to take with this paper. Do I need to read it first? Do I need to do something that is not included in the other folders? Maybe you need to fill it out and mail it back, put it into do, or do I just need to keep it to file it? So I just need to read through it. And sometimes you will find that you do one action and then there are other actions with it. That's okay. It can move between folders until it moves out. And how does it move out? Yep, that's right. It moves out by either going into your filing system, whether it's the paper path system or it's another one. Once it's done, there's no other actions, then it files into your archive files or it gets disposed of. It's gone. So the main folders that I like to use to start with, you can add some custom folders. We'll talk about that during the challenge, but 10 or fewer folders. Some of the ones that I like to start with are to do, to enter, to read, to scan, and to file. Those 5 are generally good ones to try to start with. And that's it. So your next step, if you want to continue on this action file journey, make sure register for that incoming papers challenge. You can go to suzannakaye.com if you need to, and the very top of the website, you will see a link to register for the challenge. And there's also a link to register for the challenge in the shop page. It's free, so there's no charge when you register through the shop page either. So register for the challenge. If you do want to learn not only the action file, but set up your full paper system, then check out the paper path course because it's broken down one small step at a time, and it will teach you how to build a paper system that flows one part to the other and that will not have all of your file cabinet and your archive files will not have a buildup over time where you have to go back and purge and it gets overstuffed. So I have special ways to make sure that only the true archive papers end up in the file cabinet. And there's some ways to keep papers for, quite a while and not have them junk everything up. So that's the Paper Path course. Right now, there's some bonuses. So grab that. If you are a Path member, then remember, I will see you in about 22 minutes at noon. And we do our weekly check-in and we will talk about either this or whatever arises from this topic that we need to talk about, any obstacles, any wins, all that great stuff. So I'll see Path members at noon. Eloise says, where do I go at noon? So Eloise, if you are a Path member, and I believe you are, if you're a Path member, then if you got your email about the Thursday talk today, it also has the link to your Path member Thursday talk session. All right, because we will meet through Zoom at noon. If you can't find that email, when you log in, go to suzannakaye.com and log in, then go to the Path member section of your online library. So it's going to be one of the top few boxes that you see in your online library. When you click on that main page, the link is right there for you. So hopefully that helps you out. Lori says, okay, so YouTube shortened all of my links is what happened. I will go in right as soon as we are done and unshorten those because sometimes YouTube does that and it is very annoying. So I will fix those for you. All right. And those links, you can also find them at suzannakaye.com. Some of them are in the shop area as well. Yep. That's what I thought, Eloise. I thought you were a Path member. I was pretty sure. All right. Lori says, I registered for the challenge to listen to the live sessions and get new tips. Yay. And hello, lovely Marie. She says, I'm a Path member and loving it. Wish I found it sooner. Thanks, Suzanna, for helping me stay accountable. Aw, that's wonderful. That's a heart. I'm so glad. I've really loved, and you just recently joined, and I've really loved having you. You've been doing amazing work. Great job. Judy says, thank you. You're so welcome, Judy. And Eloise says, thank you. You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you at noon, my Path members. And remember, suzannakaye.com, go to log in and go to the Path member section. And all the links are there if you cannot find the email. All right, that is it. Keep being amazing. You're doing great stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in the Action File Challenge. I will fix those links as soon as I am done here. And you can also go to the store, suzannakaye.com. Click on store. It's there for free. Yes, and also get more motivation to start using the to-do and to-file folders. Absolutely. Yay. BT says, enjoyed this session. Always thanks. You're so welcome. Have a great day, and I love you. Bye, beautiful.